Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Okay, so this video is going to be about the Christian Andriacchio case. I'm going to play you Matt Miller's interview with the cops. He has two interviews, right? So this one is going to be the first one where they go to his house and you could hear he's with his friends. They end up taking him to the police station to re-interview him, but the first one I'm going to play for you is just going to be the police officers going to his house and interviewing him. And then since it is like a 45-minute long interview, this video will probably just be that interview, and then I'll do another video kind of giving my thoughts on the interview, or I might make it into a live stream. Let me know what you guys would rather do to discuss this interview, because I have a few little thoughts about some of the stuff that is talked about, and a couple theories that I have about what I think possibly could happen by what is said in the interview. So let me know if you'd rather discuss that on a live stream or a video, and we'll do that. Here it is, though. This is Matt Miller. Oh yeah, so this is for those of you that aren't familiar with this case, this is Matt Miller. He's the one that Whitley, who is Christian Andriacchio's girlfriend at the time, was cheating on Christian with this Matt Miller guy, right? This is the guy that she was with the night before Christian's death, that she supposedly was shooting guns with. For those of you that saw my first video on this case, I showed you the gunshot residue test results, and how when they approached Whitley and told her that they were going to do a test on her, she said, well, I'm going to test positive because I was shooting guns with Matt Miller. Jet Miller, I guess, was his cousin. There was a few people that she said she was shooting guns the night before with these guys. So this is Matt Miller, this is the guy she was with. They did go shooting guns, but Matt says that she didn't shoot any guns. They did, but she didn't. So if you haven't watched my first video I did on this case, I'm going to link it in the description so you guys could check it out. But I shared the text that Whitley had texted Matt after Christian's death, how she had told him two different stories. And then in her statement to the police, it was a whole nother story. So it was just like all these lies. I'm going to share some more text with you as we go too. So, okay. So here is Matt Miller's interview. Well, his first interview, I should say.
With Jonathan DeBoard and myself, Eric Stubbs, we're investigating the Christian Andriacchio death case, looking into possible suspects. We're about to engage in an interview with one Matt Miller, who was supposedly with Whitley Goodman the night of and nights after the death of Christian Andriacchio. I'm going to place the recording device in a bag that will be placed on the table during the interview. The next several minutes will be us just getting acquainted with and getting situated in the actual interview room. This is a microphone test, so the next few minutes will be not the actual interview. We're rolling. Hello, guy. Hey, I'm supposed to make money hanging out outside all day, man. How you doing? Matt, how you doing, man?
Yeah, appreciate you coming down talking to us.
Yeah, man, we appreciate the help.
Brett?
Brett?
My
Yeah,
brother.
man.
I
Nice
got
to meet
stuck
you,
into this.
Go.
Yeah, no. We were on the way and I was like, dude, yeah, I can figure that out.
That's all we do, man.
We're
Figure
just
it
trying to
out.
wrap up some loose ends is all, man. We're not, we work for the insurance company, so
We're not police.
yeah, that's cool. I mean, I'll talk to police if I have to. You don't want to. After you get a talking to us, you probably ain't gonna want to. That's why I told them that they call the police company, they go, they can help you out. You never call the police company.
Nah. We try and keep everybody from getting in and all that.
Trying to get everybody out of this mess.
Yeah.
Well, no, I want some peanuts and Kyle wants beer, and come home. Anyway, what we do is because there's a lot of insurance money involved, we contract it out. What we do is, in this particular case, initially we reported the way it's kind of complicated. I don't really understand the process. Insurance companies are insured by insurance companies, and the way they work is, especially these guys that work like offshore and they work on the river and they do fueling and the tugboats and stuff, they're all covered under these giant insurance riders. And what it's basically, and I'll be honest with you, it's a scam. Because what it is the companies get paid if something happens there. So there's an accident, and, two or three of their guys get hurt or whatever, and they got to pay all this money for things, so they're getting paid too, because they've insurance for guys. So what happens is, anytime one of their guys dies, whether it's an accident or anything like that, they have to investigate the whole thing to make sure that there is no, I feel like a term, foul play, whether it be on, something that happened to the individual or some foul play involving one of these companies, whatever it works.
It's all about the almighty dollar, brother.
About the almighty dollar. So we started on this, and there's actually another group of private investigators who work for the family, and they are, I don't know, did you talk to those guys? Okay, we kind of bumped into them a couple of times, but they're doing their own thing, and we're kind of in the middle, and we got the police over here. We're actually down at the police force today. They had a couple of people associated with the case that brought in, and what it amounts to is your name keeps coming up on a lot of, not that you did anything, it's just, you're just, because Whitley was with you, and I guess this whole thing would, I don't know how much you know about what happened, but the day of the incident, Christian showed up unexpectedly to the house. Whitley was at their apartment over there at Willow Ridge, and basically it was all about you. We know now that prior to his death, when the hour of his death, he actually got into her phone and found the app she was using to text you with. Text you back and forth, he smashed his phone, they argued and yelled, there's another kid there. He wasn't really involved in it, but he was there. And then make a long story short, by that afternoon, he's dead in the bathtub under extremely suspicious circumstances. And when I say suspicious, I mean the police turned this into a manslaughter investigation. It was not a suicide, like he didn't just walk up there and shoot himself in the eye. One of the issues we've gotten into now is you've been brought up into it because of events that happened the day before. You've been brought up into it because of events that happened at or about the time of his death. Because, well, let's back up. Let's go back to the day before. We know that Whitley was with you. We understand y'all have a relationship. We don't care if it's y'all's business, y'all grown, y'all do whatever you want to. Well, one of her stories that she has with the police is that she was with some friends the night before discharging firearms in the county. So was she with you? Were you the person? Were y'all out there shooting guns?
It was me and my cousin and his friend. We were shooting his gun.
His gun? What kind of gun was it?
I don't know. I don't even really.
Was it a rifle?
Like a pistol.
Was Whitley shooting the gun?
No.
So Whitley never fired the gun at all? And you were aware of it the whole time?
She never shot it.
Never shot.
I shot it. She was scared to. She was scared to. But I shot it. No, Jet shot it first, my cousin.
Right.
He shot it. Then his friend shot it twice, and I shot it 3 times. I said, here, you want to shoot? She said, no, I'm terrified of it.
Terrified of gun. I don't blame him.
Well, and let me just tell you this. I mean, here's the thing. We got, obviously we got this young girl, and she's distraught or whatever, and then we've got this family that's upset, and they've got us and everything, and basically what happens is we go through and we clear out all the static, and we try to focus on what's actually important. Because if police get involved, and then the DA and everything, and this turns in and it goes to trial. Well, if it goes to trial, this is 2 years of, you're talking about 2 years of going to court, having to leave work or whatever, goes on your record that you were a suspect or whatever in a murder investigation. You're going to have to get a lawyer. You're going to have to pay him $5,000 up front. You're going to have to pay him $5,000 every time you walk in a courtroom, and he ain't going to do nothing but sit next to you. And that's it. So basically what we're trying to do is avoid our company having to pay $200,000, and then you and whoever else she's drug into this having to pay, $100,000 out of pocket and go and get loans to pay for lawyers, make sure you don't go to jail for some stupid shit that never happened anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're trying to avoid. Well, see, she told me that they were broke up. It was like for a week. That they were already like broke up, like over the phone. And I was like, so are you and Christian
anything or anything. She said, no, he has some girl in Birmingham or something. And I was like, oh, well, you want to hang out with me and my cousin and friends? And she's like, yeah, nothing else. That's it.
Like I said, I mean, that's really actual business. I mean, the only thing we care about is what she did and where she was at and what she may have said or done leading up to and around it. One of the things her statement is, obviously, you know, this is death involving a firearm. One of the things the police will do is do what they call a gunshot residue test on you to see if you handle or discharge a firearm within the last few hours. And one of the first things out of her mouth to the police on scene and to the detectives afterwards is that she was shooting guns the day before and she had been firing a handgun, so she was going to test positive. So she's using you as her alibi to say, hey, I'm going to test positive on this gunshot test residue. I got to, you know, there's a dead body upstairs with the gunshot wound to the head. And she's saying, well, I was with my friend, which happens to be you, and we were all shooting guns. And so now you're telling me that she didn't fire a gun.
I remember, like I asked her up front.
You just touched it or anything? I'm not trying to.
You're fine. Go ahead.
I'm just like, this is all new to me.
Yeah, this is...
Whoa.
So she didn't touch the gun, so she's lied to the police. That's the problem.
See, she called me, like I called her and like I called her and asked her about all this. And she told me that she was asleep and woke up and found him. That's what she told me. She told me that she found him.
This is like the day after or...
The day after.
The day after?
I called Dallas Field because I heard that Whitley was with Dallas. Whitley wouldn't answer the phone because apparently it was broke, I guess. So I called Dallas and I talked to Whitley. She was like crying and stuff. And she asked if she could hang out. I said no. And I was with two of my other buddies. And they'll tell you like the same exact story. Well, anyway, we're sitting there and we're thinking about like really what happened, like trying to put pieces together.
You're fine. No, no big deal. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
You're welcome.
But we were talking about it and everything, and then a couple of days later, somebody told me about like, the gun residue on her hands and everything, and so I called my cousin and say, dude, she shoot a gun. I'm pretty sure she did. And he's like, no, she's scared. And then the next thing I know, she's telling the police that Dylan found the body. But she told me all the different story. But here's what I'm thinking, like, if you're asleep, when you hear a gunshot, she said she woke up to the gunshot. That's the
What story did she give you?
The words that came in her mouth the day after she said that she woke up to the gunshot and ran upstairs to phone. That's what she told me.
And then she tells the police.
Then she tells the police that
Dylan comes in, wakes her up, and they find him.
Yeah.
Another problem. You got that phone record paperwork?
Yeah. So going back to what came out of her mouth, she says, you know, yeah, I heard a pop, and I woke up, and she went upstairs and found him. Well, have you talked to Dylan? What did Dylan say?
I tried to call him a minute ago.
I'm
not real good buddies with Dylan. Like we don't have no like problems, but we just
you guys know each other through same friends or whatever. Yeah.
Well, here's the situation. We're going to show you some phone records. The coroner has placed Christian's time of death at 3:45 in the afternoon on the 26th, and they know that because they can do a test of the blood at the scene, and he tells them literally to the minute how long it's been outside his body. That it's just a kid they use. So they're pretty sure that he was dead at 3:45 and at 3:45. There's phone records from Christian's phone, which was the only functioning phone in the house at that time, because we know that he had smashed her phone after he saw the text message between you two guys. And you can see that somebody used his phone to repeatedly try to call you at about the minute of his death up until 10 minutes after his death. And you never answered. You never picked up. She just kept calling and calling and calling. And the only person that could have been was Whitley.
Now, did it show a return call later on?
Later on that night, you tried to call back. But we didn't bring that in and stuff. It was like, she tried to call you.
Oh, I called her back because when I woke up, my cousin called me and said, did you hear about Christian? I was like, what? He said, he shot at him. That's when I...
We saw where it was later that night you called back, and then no one answered your call, so none of the calls ever connected. But her story to the police is she was asleep the entire time, and Dylan woke her up when he came back from running an errand to Best Buy at about a full hour after he died. And Dylan's the one who finds him, goes down there, wakes her up, and then it's, oh my God, they call 911, she's upset. So right here, someone's using his phone to try to call you repeatedly.
While he's dead, Jesus.
Immediately after his death. And then they to call you again, right there, using Christian's phone. Now, 344 is dead.
That's crazy.
Yeah, see what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's how they're dragging you into
That's
it.
how they're dragging you into this.
Yeah.
The last thing, my friend, you want to be is accessory after the fact to manslaughter, because whatever the person who's charged with manslaughter gets time-wise, you get the same sentence.
It's just like being sitting shotgun with a guy that just robbed a gas station. You're just as guilty as the guy that robbed it.
That's right.
But so you aren't. Had you ever been to Christians? Apart, you never been over there, nothing like that.
Christian, really, ever.
Yeah, we kind of heard y'all had some beef and didn't really.
I mean, we didn't have no beef. We got that cleared up a long time ago. Like, we shook hands, everything was up. You know, he paid my dad. Over with, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's like if he vandalized
somebody.
the business.
He painted your truck or some shit like that. Yeah.
Crazy shit. But I mean, everything was cool. We shook hands, paid my dad, you know. And then, like, I mean, I didn't never really talk to him after that. Never. I saw him in Walmart, just did that to him.
Were you with her after the shooting? Do you still talk to her?
Hell
It's probably a good thing, because you're probably not going to want to see this.
I'm gonna show you something. You probably want to keep this to yourself.
Yeah.
I want you to read through this real quick, and then we'll continue. Now, we know that those aren't your text messages, but it won't take you long to figure out who they are.
Dang.
Keep going.
It's better.
Full work.
Y'all gotta go doing that to me, though. I can't read it. Y'all gotta go doing that to me.
He can tell you about it if he wants, but this one we got to show just now.
I understand.
So,
I would recommend you make an appointment.
Yeah.
That's fact.
That's fact.
She probably didn't mention any of that, did she?
And that's the gift that keeps on giving, you never give it. You may be lucky you may have dodged a bullet, but you may want to get that checked quickly. That's not good. I'm already trying to ruin your day, but you should know.
yeah.
And you should know that that's you do intentionally. Obviously, she knew.
She knew before she was with you about that.
Obviously, she knew, and that was intentional. She didn't bother to tell you. So, what we're getting at is whatever friendship, whatever loyalty you thought she had to you or you had to her, erase that shit because she had no loyalty to you.
Yeah, she didn't care.
So don't put yourself in a situation. Well, don't put yourself in a situation where you can do time.
Yeah.
Protecting somebody who didn't mind you doing time.
Not only has she done that to you, but she's also trying to use you as an alibi to the police, which brings you into the level. And now, as of 1 o'clock this afternoon, they have copies of those phone records right there. They know she tried to call you repeatedly. The question is, why did she try to call you? Were you supposed to come over? Was she trying to warn you not to come over? Was she calling you for help?
Y'all have the text messages?
No, we do, but we don't have them with us.
I don't know. Maybe you got something we hadn't
Yeah.
seen.
I'm gonna see. I mean, I'm pretty sure I still have them. I mean, I got. You know what I'm saying? Just give me a minute. I'll look.
We got it all night, man.
I got a girl coming to get me, so I know it's already
And we're not trying to ruin your day around your parade. We're just trying to figure out why she's dragging you up in this.
Okay. Here it is.
Mind if I-
Go ahead. I think this is where it started. Hold on. Wait.
There's the 26th, so that would have been the day of the event.
Thank you.
All right, so this is this says Wednesday, 11:43 a.m. So this would have been before Christian got back into.
Right about the time we got there.
Yeah, we've got a timeline here. So this would have been 11:45. 12:40 was the last call that Christian personally made from his cell phone. 11:30 to 12 o'clock, Dylan and Christian arrive in Meridian. So this says 11:45. So this is about when him and Dylan are getting into Meridian. Hey, Christian is kicking me out of the. Hey, Christian is kicking me out. I need you to come get me, please. I went to work. Please, I have nowhere to go. Call Dallas. I can't really leave right now. After last night, you can't leave. It's a job. I was already late. I swear I would buy. I really can't. Did I say your name last night? No. Why? Because I normally do. Duh. What do you mean? I don't remember shit from last night. Nothing. So she's saying, she knows what's going down. She's saying, hey, he's on his way to the house to kick me out.
Yeah.
Come pick me up.
I was at work. And I get off at what time we get off? 3?
Where you work at?
Construction. M&S Construction.
M&S.
Is that new to y'all? Like all that? Is that not been?
I mean, we haven't seen, obviously we don't have, we don't tap your phone or nothing like that, so we don't have this. I mean, this is new to us, yeah. Because, see, her phone was destroyed. And,
I might have some more in there. Like,
dude, find it if you can, bro, because I know, didn't she have, like, multiple phones? Or
yeah.
She did? And I've actually got a, this may help you do the little Apple search thing on there, but I've got a tag. So this is from another number. This is from 917-5492. Hey, what time would you want to hang out today? This is Whitley, by the way. Answer, I've been asleep. And that's all you'd ever gotten from that. So this is somebody else's phone. What is 5492? That's
She texted you from Christian's phone.
on
What time was it?
1:33. Do you mind if I screenshot this and text
Go
it?
ahead, man. Go ahead. I might have more, to be honest.
When you find them,
I'm finna go look.
yeah.
Alright, so
I don't talk to her. I haven't seen her since that night. Not the night after, like the night before. The last time I seen her.
and this is at 1:33 p.m. This is Christian. This ain't Whitley.
Acting like Willie.
Think about the text. He's in Meridian. It's 12:30. He's in Meridian. He's alive. And he's saying, hey man, this is Whitley. You want to hang out? Meet me at my apartment.
She usually don't come at me like that. Sure.
So that's Christian trying to withdraw your name. Okay. That's the same one where she said this is Whitney, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice little redundant additive at the end.
That's interesting.
Christian was on the warpath. He was ready. He caught her red-handed with you, and he was ready for him. He was out for blood.
Can you go back to the other ones, the ones we looked at before that? What about Dallas? Has she made any contact with you, or she tried to be like, hey, look out for this, yada yada? That other one, that one we saw. I'm gonna screenshot it
I was with her.
because y'all know each other. I mean,
I
right?
was with her 2 days ago.
Yeah, I've known Dallas for
Me and Dallas are real good friends. Like, she knows.
We talked
Yeah.
I talked to Dallas today.
Yeah, and she was cool, and she was like, man, something's up,
She's the one that called.
What she said? Did you mention anything about me?
I asked her about your kids, she knew, but she didn't. I mean, she doesn't. As far as knowing about you and Whitley, I mean, she knew y'all were together, and that's how we found that. We knew you were with her the night before, but she let us know that she had dropped Whitley off
Yeah.
to go meet you. And she also told us that
Whitley's story about shooting guns wasn't true because Jet told her that the guns that she didn't do any shooting out there.
Yeah.
And that's why we decided we needed to talk to you to find out.
Just my cousin.
Yeah. What we're going to do is help you distance yourself from this very quickly. Brother, you don't want to be in this at all.
I ain't even thought. You don't think there's like a pretty good possibility that he could get in trouble for it, do you?
Him?
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, there's a
there is a possibility.
right, that's what we're trying to clear, because right now, let me tell you how it's going to look. Let's play devil's advocate.
All right.
All right?
Here, I think here's how it's going to look. They're going to sit me in the courtroom and talk all this shit about me sleeping with her.
Mm-hmm.
Make me look all bad and shit. And act like I was with her.
Well, here's what it would look like. If I was a prosecutor, here's what I'd say. I'd say, okay, here's this little sweet, blonde-headed little 18-year-old girl. Very, look at her. She's dainty and sweet. There's no way she could do anything right, Now, we got the rap guy that's over here, right? And this dude, he's doing whatever, and he's out doing this, and he's staying out late, and he's a partier, and he's doing all this. And then we got Christian here, poor Christian. And he was just working, trying to make a living. And then you're coming in, and you're trying to steal his girl away from him, right? And then you show up at the apartment, and Christian comes home, because Christian texts you. Christian says, hey man, this is Whitley, meet me over at the apartment, right? And Whitley doesn't know he's coming home, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? And then so what it's going to look like is you two got into a struggle at the house. He convinces you to come home. You open the door, and he's standing there. Y'all start going to blows, right? Because Christian had abrasions on his nose, like he had been in some type of altercation, okay? So it looks like you walk in, you come over just to get you a little piece, whatever. You're young, I used to do it, everybody did, right? You walk in the door, you see Christian. Christian goes, hey, motherfucker, you've been cheating with my girl, you've been doing this and that. Boom, boom, bang, y'all start going to blows. A gun gets pulled out, bang, he gets shot. Now, we know for a fact, the police know for a fact, I'm playing devil's advocate, I ain't accusing you. I'm just saying, picture yourself in this courtroom, right? Picture some dickhead, picture some dickhead lawyer that's trying to put you away because he's getting paid $5,000 a day to do that, right?
He don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, he don't care. You just another case.
Yeah.
So what he does is he says, well, she's too small, and she's a little girl, and she was scared of guns. Mr. Miller said she was scared of guns. So he's the only one that could have done that. And Christian was so big, Mr. Miller's the only one that could have moved the body. Because we know for a fact that the body was moved.
So he got shot downstairs?
No, he got shot upstairs, as far as we know. But through forensic evidence and detectives and homicide investigators and everybody that's looked at the pictures, they don't add up. And John will go into more of how a body acts whenever it's hit, but the forensics, the whole physics of how a body and projectiles and ballistics and all that works, the way the body ended up could not have been possible. Okay? Now, they're going to say they know the body was moved. They know she was there. And then they pick up the phone records and they go, she could use sometimes to come over there and help her move that body. Or maybe you were there already, or whatever, right? And then Dylan goes, hey man, I wasn't there. I walked in after the fact, right? Or whatever. So, there's a million different scenarios, but I'm saying, think of you sitting in that chair, and your defense is, well, I was fucking her, and this, but I really didn't do it. And they're like, good.
Or she's going to turn her tears on, and she's going to cry, and you're going to confront her for it.
She's going to be wearing a pink little sweater and a little Sunday dress, and she's going to look like a sweet little girl.
So you got tattoos.
Yeah, you that guy, man. You the bad guy. Help us help you.
Sweet little innocent thing.
I'll do anything I can. You want me to see if I got any more stuff?
Yeah, actually locked up on me. Well, I've been doing screenshots and we'll text them to myself, if you don't mind. And that's just for our records or whatever. But anyway,
we're not coming at you hard, but we're at the end of this thing. We've been on it 2 months now. So we know the chain of events that pretty much happened. We know for a fact that the
Yeah, the crime scene was heavily modified after Christian died. It was staged, and the argument's going to be that Whitley wasn't big enough to movie like that without making an absolute mess.
And
Must
the
have had
Abrasions
him.
on the road, they're not going to do
And she must have had help, and the firearm in this particular case, the firearm was the type of firearm that in order for it to be the way it was, it would have had to have been manually manipulated by somebody who would have to take the gun away from the body, alter it, and put it somewhere else. And Whitley doesn't know anything about guns.
I told you don't be fucking with nobody's girlfriend. I swear to God I tell him this, dude.
But that ain't illegal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But then, shit out of goodness.
You know what I'm saying? He could have never known that this is what we're going to lead to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody's done it. You know, he's peaceful, you know what I'm saying? But it's,
The problem you got now is you got drug up in the middle of a very serious death investigation. You are on the list.
yeah, it went from you might have a boyfriend mad at you or, you know, trying to kick your ass at a gas station somewhere or something like that to she's trying to get you put in jail to keep her own ass out of jail.
This may have been done intentionally to incriminate you. I'll bring you into it.
She seems like a little conniving ass bitch anyway.
And look, man, I'll be honest, we've seen some bad people. You know what I'm saying? We've seen some bad people. We've seen some bad scenes. We've seen some thugs and some gangsters, you know, and some bad folks. And you don't strike me as the kind of guy that premeditatively, you know, plans this, you know, this. You know what I'm saying? You know,
I've been in like 3 fights in his life or whatever with me.
You know,
it's kind of like
we're talking about a lot of planning and conspiracy and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's not what you're striking me as. And this is, who is this 3744?
I have no idea. This is Whitley, what you doing?
That's another one she's using.
I don't know where these numbers are coming
Dude,
from.
she must have like 14 burner phones,
I
dude.
swear I don't know where these numbers are coming
she
from.
might use it like
I mean, you can read all of
What
them.
about the iMessages from Dallas's iPad to you? Dallas said she was using her iPad to iMessage you.
I'm gonna look. I don't remember.
probably gonna be like an email.
Yeah. No, it'll be
Yeah, her
other.
iMessages, yeah.
But not like the number will probably be an email, won't it?
I think so.
So what date was this when it happened?
26th, February the 26th.
February
3:45 in the afternoon.
These messages March the 4th.
It was after the fact.
February 25th,
26th.
26th. What day?
Was it Wednesday?
Wednesday?
Yeah, it was a Wednesday.
I was at work until about 3.
Alright, so this is from 917-3744. Says, hey, this is Whitley, what are you doing? And this, he doesn't reply. I feel like you're avoiding me. He doesn't reply. Hey, because I had gun residue on my hands from us shooting guns, and they asked who it is. You're not a suspect. They already declared it a suicide because they know by the ballistic test what kind of gun that was shot and what time and what gunpowder on Christian's hands. When did they, and he says, okay, when did they question you? They didn't. His family did. What did they say? Saying that it wasn't a suicide and I better pray I wasn't behind it. Like I always get caught up in shit because of you. This is him talking to her. How can you say that right now? Because I'm getting threats over someone I have no clue about. That's why. This is her. I'm getting threatened too, but I can't help it. That's not even the issue to me. The issue is he's gone, and there's no way it was a homicide either because he was shot in the side of the head. I didn't even know that until yesterday.
She told me he was shot in the throat at first. She told me he was shot in the throat. The first thing, that's the first time I asked her over the phone.
That's dope for her to say, period. She's trying to make it look like a suicide.
Yeah.
Shot himself in the throat.
Then she continues to say, and I didn't have his kind of gunpowder on my hands. How would she have known that?
Not how that works.
Matt replies, and I'm sorry he's gone, but I didn't talk to him or nothing, and I'm in it. Because I shot guns with you the night before, he shot himself, Matt. So she's saying, because I shot guns with you the night before, he shot himself. Is that what she's saying? And that's
I have
stupid.
no idea.
When did they come to you? Last night. Please don't kick me when I'm down. I'm not. Did you find Christian or did Dylan find him? Dylan.
is where it gets real, right here.
This is where it gets strange.
This is where it gets
You
real.
told me you woke up to a gunshot and found him. No, Dylan found him, told me, and I found him. Your story has changed so much. What, she says? So, where was he shot? You told me something completely different. His head, I didn't even know where he was shot when it happened because it didn't go through. I just found that out. How did I do that? You told me y'all fell asleep together and you woke up to a gunshot, ran upstairs and found him. You said nothing about Dylan. You said you, in capital letters, found him. Dylan didn't even go upstairs. Dylan told me to check on him, and I did, and he was dead. Dylan said Dylan found him. She's saying Dylan said, or first she says she found him. Dylan says he found him. She says she found him.
Because Dylan told her to check on him.
Then changed over to
Can I get a free tattoo?
Yeah, he might have
Dylan
one
told
of
me
your
to
faces.
find him.
Just tell him if you look at well, I
Dylan said he found him. I talked to the judge, Christian's uncle, my uncle, but you told the police a whole different story. You're trying to say I'm...
Judge Thompson's like a distant relative.
Really? So you're trying to say I'm guilty? Fuck, I don't know. Nobody knows. Why would he kill himself? Everybody's trying to find out. Wish I could tell you. Yeah. My story didn't change because I didn't want to make you feel bad. This is her. He did know we were together because he tracked my phone. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to make you feel bad. You have to consider I went through more than I should have with all this. I was cleared as a suspect and it was ruled a suicide. It was a few days after. And she's acting like, hey, it's all over. Did anyone ever stop to think my whole entire life ended by finding what I did in the bathtub from one night of fucking up? I'm not saying this because I want to get high with you, but just to clear stuff up. Like to
You want to give all this to the police?
clear your name.
I'm going to jail.
You're not going to tell. This is going to help you a lot.
Yeah, well, shit, yeah.
I better get a free tattoo for this.
I'll give you one if you let me do it. I mean, I ain't got no experience, but I'll do a free tattoo.
I'll let you do it. I don't have a lot of room on my ass. I'll let you tattoo if you paint my gun.
Alright. That's a deal.
And to make it worth it, huh?
Yeah.
I can draw pretty good, man.
Huh?
I can draw pretty good.
That's what's up.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can draw pretty cool cartoons.
Look at your chin going, man.
I like this. I like that shading.
You want to be
Like-
going over a little bit.
Love how they do the clouds like that.
I
Damn.
drew that out.
Ooh, I think that did hurt,
That
man.
shit hurt.
On the sternum right there.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ew.
should I go ahead and show him what?
They go to the guy, never fuck.
Should I go ahead and show him?
Yeah.
Like when I did that,
That's tight. Oh, it looks good.
In like an hour.
that's my favorite tattoo on him.
Looks
It
good.
did it like an hour.
You think there's any more messages in here, man?
I mean, look.
The more we turn over, the further away from this thing you gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I'm willing to do whatever, man.
You can ask my boys over here. You can ask Mike. If we thought you were guilty, we'd come at you a whole different way, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have seen us
I
coming. You know
wouldn't
what I'm
What
saying?
y'all told me the first time about doing is like, we can get y'all guys to help y'all out. We can save y'all from getting pulled out your bed at 3 o'clock in the morning about some man stuff. Motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, get on the ground. I mean, wait, get on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like shit.
Get on your back.
Yeah. Get on over.
No, never mind. Stomach is better. Stomach was better.
I can't pull over any farther.
Damn, man, what did you do? This is crazy, dude.
Don't tell nobody about it.
I'm not.
He's like,
No,
shoot
this
my mom
is
and my dad.
well, here's the thing, dude. It's an open investigation, so you do not want to compromise anything because then,
Suspicious activity.
because then you can be charged with conspiracy.
Okay.
So that's
Played
a
around everything.
that's a felony, bro. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, question out.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
once
for
it's
sure.
over-
I'm definitely not, dude.
once
This
it-
is my
once
ride or
it's
die.
case closed, you can post it on Facebook.
Yeah.
But until then, anybody can be brought in for, you know, I mean, if, you know, like let's say I'm not saying you would.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying, you know, let's say that we were talking and you walked outside and you called with them and you're like, hey, they know this.
Yeah.
You're guilty of conspiracy.
I don't know, Willie.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know that bitch. I don't want to know her.
He said I do know her now. So I'm watching that. I'm gonna go to the police station.
I don't know who was on the phone with.
Hell
I don't know.
Hell no.
Do you mind if I text myself that stuff?
We're going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you. You're good.
Am I going?
Yeah, we got to go down to the police station because they want to get copies of all that. They want to interview you and talk to you about basically what you just told us. And that's going to take you.
Yeah, this is not. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. Yeah.
I mean, am I riding with y'all or?
Yeah, y'all can call
Yeah, you follow.
I'm getting a girl to pick me up.
Yeah, you follow down there or whatever.
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be 6:30 and this shouldn't happen. You know, it's like, dude, what the crap? How you gonna leave him alone? We gotta go picking this up. That's why I came. I'm an hour and a half late. So much for homeboy, huh? I'm here at least. Yeah, we'll get out there with you. So don't worry about that. Well, I can't stand being. I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to
Oh my
send.
God, you get that, dude. What do you want? You can, they can.
What's the easiest way to send like a bunch of pictures? Like email or?
Probably email, to be honest. I mean, I'll just show you how you can do like mass text messages.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to be able to. I need to select. It's probably got like 20 of them.
He's got like 6,000 selfies too. Thank you.
No, man. There's some nudies in there.
Yeah, all them.
It's all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on LTE right now.
I mean, they're gonna be cool. I need to pull down my pants or I'm walking there with marijuana.
Oh, man. These motherfuckers, look, man. These motherfuckers don't give a shit about no fucking weed, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Look at me. That's right.
You'd be surprised how many cops smoke weed, man.
That's the only thing I do, man. That's the only thing I do.
Look, these guys are working a murder investigation. They don't give a shit about smoking weed. They don't give a shit about popping pills. They're trying to put murderers away. You know what I'm saying?
What the? Dude, we've had a shitty day. Tell that earlier.
Oh yeah, man.
Believe it or not, this is a good thing.
We got shot at earlier.
By who?
We were
Jackson?
working at a Dollar General in South
We're going to Family Dollar. It's on Terry Road.
God,
Trying to go to Jackson, like, help it.
really like
Like, they look at us, and I actually had a red bandana on. I'm like, you know, like, I'm wearing a bandana.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
We had to leave work. They got shot, and the police came up there.
And we didn't even start anything, dude. There was some roofers. They had the road blocked off. It was a little like an odd road, dude. It's like, project. It's not like a big road or anything. And somebody pulled in. She came out the driveway, bitching and yelling. And they started bitching and yelling back, and they're on the front, we were in the back. And she was like, I got stuff beyond and left. Little did we know, she lived in the house right behind us, you know, like 20 yards away from us. And she got out there, and then me and Matt's closest to her now, because she went around. You know, they're front, and then I guess she thought we were the ones talking shit too. And then she walked out there, and she's like, that's real talk. We were like, what? Blah, blah. And we were like, whoa, call the cops. It was crazy. Oh, we got a guy at the station. One we know he's already there waiting on us. He's having to be working on the case late tonight, so we'll go ahead and get on the front. We'll meet you down there. Just wait for us. You get there before us.
Yeah, you ain't gonna be no handcuffs.
Ain't none of that stuff. You're not in trouble. Yeah, the new one on 26. Huh? They got all kinds of stuff. They got rats.
Oh,
I know.
Oh, so you want to fuck all that shit up?
I know who did the roof. I know who did the roof. I didn't do
Guilty.
the roof. Sorry, never mind. I did the sheetrock. I did the sheetrock, the ceiling, everything. I didn't do the roof where it leaked. It was leaking from day one we were there.
Thank you for doing this, man.
Oh yeah. I got it cleared up.
Yeah.
I was like sitting on my bed. I said, "Holy."
I got that no feeling when you tell me.
And look, this was Lola. Like
Oh
that's.
yeah. I gotta talk to my dad about. I gotta make a
Yeah, that's. Nobody needs to know about that. We ain't telling about it.
Should he tell it? Like he shouldn't tell his parents about this, dude.
About,
Like that's fine. He ain't gonna be like, hey.
here's the thing.
Hey, dog.
You telling your parents about it, or whatever. That's cool. But you don't want to be calling your boys up saying, "Man, guess what just happened?" Because that's when you get in trouble for either screwing with an investigation, conspiracy.
I mean, I've had people ask me about
We're trying to. I mean, that's what we're eliminating.
I was like,
If you were a suspect, the police have already called you.
I was wondering why they haven't talked to me.
Because you're not a suspect. You're just a witness.
I wonder why I never heard anything about this.
All right, so y'all gonna follow us down there?
The only thing I've ever heard of is
All right, y'all.
Thank you, guys.
All right, man, I got you.
Where you ride at, bro? You got a ride or you need to ride with us? Stand by. All right, that completes our interview with Matt Miller. The first one, we are now convinced him to come down to the police department and make a statement to the detectives. We are going to end this current recording, and we will pick up a new recording once we reach the police department. So I will be stopping this recording now.